I'm so excited to get this thing out, although it looks very smoky. It sounds great, listen. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, you guys loved the CL55 episode, which was my daily, so then this is part 2 of my cars, and I'm going to show you something incredibly special today. And when I say incredibly special, because these cars, they mean something to you, isn't it? So if you're like me and you're into this sort of thing, it's sentimental. This particular car, I bought it in the middle of lockdown. One of my best friends, who is now my business partner, and we drove it back, and I got fond memories of that. It got me through the whole COVID thing. It was something that I always wanted, and then when I had it, I was never going to let go of it. It's modified. I'm going to show you what it is. Let's go. So this is my gorgeous 108. Now, this is a 1972. She's a short wheelbase because she's a 108. It's a little bit different. I mean, like, I'll tell you the story, right? So it was lockdown, sitting on the internet, going through Facebook, this pops up for sale. This is very unique. They didn't build diesel ones of these, right? So this has got that Fable OM606 in it, with a 6-speed manual. And it was on air, right? Now, it was up for a set amount of money. I looked at it at the time, I was like, that's too cheap, it must be rotten, you know what I mean? So I give the guy a call. The guy was an absolute legend. He ran a big wastegate company from America in the UK. He was super honest. I struck a deal. I drove up in the middle of the first lockdown with my best friend, with Rich, to go collect this thing. And like, I was going there with an open mind because like, I wanted this myself. So like you guys, you get like goggles on, don't you? You think, oh no, I'm gonna be cool, I'm gonna be cool. When you get up there, you're like, oh my God, I need this. I done exactly that with this car. And like, as soon as he opened that garage, aired it up and pulled it out, I was fucking soaked. Like, that car could have had holes in it for all I cared, and I would have bought it anyway. I paid a very reasonable sum because back then these were very reasonable. They're not now. I basically dailied it. I dailied it for like 3 years. And I didn't do a thing to it. I just washed it. And I still haven't done a thing to it. I just washed it. I chucked those wheels on, which are very, very nice. When I first had it, it had the original like steel hubcaps, but I wanted something a little bit different, and these came up. They were reps as well. I didn't want to put too much money into this because it was never going to be worth a lot of money. But now they're starting to make a lot of money, so it makes a lot more sense to spend a bit more money on it. Now, I did buy that black cabriolet from the other episode from the £500 car challenge, and I was going to do that for the summer, but then I thought to myself, I have a load of convertibles in all the time anyway. That is not as special as this, and it will never be. So instead of putting the money into that, I'm gonna put the money into this instead. So today, I come up here to pull it out and then assess what we need to do to it. So this is gonna be my 108 plus the plans and what we're gonna do moving forward. So let's pull this thing out, shall we? First things first, we gotta clear all of this. And then open those doors and then see if it starts. It'll start. There's one thing this car has never done is not started. It's always started. It's never failed. These OM606s are bulletproof. We'll take it down to HQ and I'll give you a quick run through on what this thing is all about. So clear all that out. The theme of today is me covered in dirt. Right, we got it cleared out. Now we're gonna try and attempt starting it. Now this thing has never failed to start for me, ever. It's always been great. And let's see if it's gonna let me down today. We're gonna have to put a jump back on it. Because I'm sure once the jump back is on, it's gonna start just fine. No. Okay, I've done something wrong here. I messed it up. Alright, just give it a little bit of glow plug power, which is my anti-theft device on this thing. And it sounds so good. Right, turn on the tanks. Let's see if it'll air up. It's a little bit smoky. Right, we're gonna leave it idle a sec. bit smoky. And it's very loud. Very loud. I'm so excited to get this thing out. Although it looks very smoky. Okay, so it started up, we got out, and it drove down just fine. In all fairness, right, in like the 3.5, 4 years that I've owned this car, it's never let me down. Apart from once. I used it for a friend's wedding once. I was really nervous about using it because you know what it's like when you start using something that's as important as that. And she was adamant she wanted this car. I was like, you can have any other car. And she was like, no, I want this one. I ended up taking it down. I got off in the morning, started up, I thought, oh, it's fine. We're going to be fine. This car's been absolutely fine. And done the wedding day and stuff. Woke up the next morning, I had to go pick up my kids from Cardiff and ended up breaking down the side of the motorway. Because the water pump nailed itself. So that's the only time this thing has let me down. Now the reason it's the only time it's ever let me down, and I did use it daily, was because it has an OM606 in it. Now, you guys might know what an OM606 is. It's that fabled 3-litre turbo diesel that a very good friend of mine has a whole company called Diesel Pump UK turbocharging these things and making them crazy power of a Nissan Patrol doing 3 wheels. And then his Charger doing massive smoky burnouts. Luke's a great guy, and you should check out his channel, definitely. But it's got one of those in it, with a 6-speed manual. Now that was always the appeal, is to have something that's old, that's retrofitted with something modern that makes it usable. And this car is so usable. It's really good on juice, everything kind of works apart from the speedo. It just made it reliable, and that's a really big thing. That means that I can take this car anywhere and I know it won't break down, and it's really good. And now 108s are special things anyway. They were the flagship car back in the day. This is a 72, power disc brakes all around, really complicated independent suspension all around, really cool. Like, it's a really cool thing. The guy that built this originally has always nagged me to buy it back because he sold it to the guy that I bought it off. I will never sell it. I don't think so anyway. I mean, like, everything's always for sale at the right price. And obviously, if a 111 came up, which is one of these but a coupe, I would definitely consider selling it because ultimately that's what I want. I would want a convertible, but the ship of sale on those, the money on them are ridiculous. A coupe would be the ideal. But I still prefer the 108. The saloon looks so good. It looks so good. And it looks so good in white. Let's have a walk around it. What I'm going to do to it, its quirky little features, and we'll take it for a drive. It's very low. It's on bags. It's a manual setup, really agricultural. Once again, super reliable. It's never let me down. It's got a little bit of a leak in one of the front bags, I think the front right, but the rest of them, the entire time that I've owned it, never been an issue, which is like unheard of with air. Touch wood. Because we're going to drive this in a little bit. It's had some work done underneath to make it sit as low as it does. It just looks amazing. Every time I take it somewhere, I lay it out outside a shop or whatever it is, it just looks incredible. This car gets the most attention out of all my cars. It just, I mean, look at it. Just look at it. It's an incredible thing. And when you see it rolling down the road, it's just got that status, it's got that presence, and I absolutely love it. It's got power steering, power brakes. The air is comfortable. It's like super comfortable. The seats are super comfortable. Should I show you? Should we have a look inside? Right. So the inside is green, but these seats, I mean, look at the cushioning. And they got no headrest, gives it a really casual look. This car is a non-sunroof car, which is amazing. All the wood, look at all the wood. It is incredible. And like, it's such a comfortable place to be in. I'm a big guy, plenty of space above. It's just so comfortable. It's so comfortable, so beautiful, and everything, like, I mean, could you imagine back in the day owning this car? It's a little bit in not great condition. Obviously, it's got a manual air setup, which someone's agriculturally put there. The main thing is that we want to do is change that to a 3P airlift. That's one of the biggies that I want to do. This car now, I've had a little while, it is a little bit tired, and it's coming to the point where I need to do some work on it. I'm gonna send it up to 187. Because of what it is, it's never gonna be worth a huge amount of money. Now, you've seen the 108s that we buy and we sell. This car is never gonna be that. Because of this engine conversion, it's never gonna be original. It'll always be modified. It's worth, obviously, a chunk of money because people like these cars. There's a couple of OM6 108s about as well. I just want to do stuff to it just to bring it, like freshen it up a bit. Not spend too much money on it because I want to use it and I still want to park it everywhere. So we'll go around it. I'll show you some of the issues and what we're going to do. First issue, rest. Now, as bad as it looks, right, it is relatively solid. Like this down here, this is just the paint coming off. Everything is quite solid. The arches are all there. This is just the beginning of stuff that needs to be done. The boot lid, now that has always been a problem. Like, that's been there since I've had it, like since I've owned it. So the boot lid, rust is just on the boot lid. Everything else is actually all right. There's a little bit there, but that's nothing major. It's actually okay. Really cool feature. That's what the fuel tank thing is. And like down this side, a similar sort of vibe. You've got like these little bits like that, which is okay. Might have to replace the door, maybe, but the arches are okay, and it just needs a little bit of TLC in general. I was gonna strip this car right down to give it a paint. I didn't know I was gonna color change it, because I really, really like these in black. There's a friend of mine who owns Quirky Classics called Adam, and he has one in black at 3.5. He is Mr. 108. He's got loads of these, he deals in loads of spare parts. I've got the best friends because I got someone that does the engine and I got someone that has loads of parts for these and a huge storage of them as well. Old Mercedes parts, I'll drop his link in here and he'll help me along with this as well. So we'll take it for a little spin, show you what it's like with the channel as we progress, with the work that's been done in this. I'm just going to keep you up to date with it and I hopefully get it done over the next couple of months because it isn't a huge amount of work. And it just needs a general just going over suspension bits as well, because underneath this, back in the day, you used to have like loads of like grease nipples. And I think there's like, I think my friend Ella said there was like 27 points or something like that they have to be greased at every service. And in all fairness, the only thing I've ever done in this was change oil a couple of times. I haven't done nothing. So it's well overdue a little update. But right, let's take it for a spin. Show you what it's like. It sounds wild because like obviously it's turbocharged. The exhaust is actually really, really cool. Okay. Jumping into this thing is like jumping into an old glove. Is that the same? No, into an old pair of shoes. It is so comfortable. I've done so many miles in this. It just feels like home. And it's very cool when you have a car that feels like that. Let's start up, let's go for a spin. Tank. My little sequence. Bit noisier than normal, so I'm going to speak up a little bit, but it's got a 6-speed in it. Problems with this car, right, which I don't consider problems, it is just one of those things. When the guy built this car originally, he left the original diff in, so although it's a 6-speed, I use it like a dog leg, so I start off in second and then go that way because the gearing is so short. Which is a shame. When I did first buy this car though, the guy that built it did message me and say that he had a diff for it. And that I wanted it, and at the time, you know, I just wanted to drive it, I didn't want it off the road, so I didn't take it up on his offer and I should have. As I said before, Luke from Diesel Pump UK makes these like 400 or 500 brake, and he does a lot of other bits to it, like 200, 250. So I do want to do that, and if we do it, the diff's going to explode. So I have spoken to Adam about getting a 6.3 diff, which I know is going to cost money, but it will take the power, and I should be able to run comfortably like 300, 350 in this. Even if it's like a little bit less, I'd be fine with that. Because at the moment it's only running at stock power, which is about, I don't know, I'm going to say like 170 to 190, which is more than enough to pull it along. It is more than enough. It sounds great, listen. I absolutely love it. Now, would I prefer an automatic? Absolutely, but the manual in this, it suits it so well. I'm really not mad about it. It's got power steering, it's got power brakes, so it doesn't feel modern because it isn't, you know what I mean, but it's completely usable and completely comfortable. Remember I said in my last video WCL I got a 60-mile either way round trip for my boys. In the summertime, I'll use this car all the time for that. Quite comfortable to use, sit on the motorway with it. It's a lovely little thing, and because it's diesel, it's relatively good on juice, and it's got enough hook, so like, let's grow the gears. OM606 is red, and we're already up to like 100 pace. It's moving, right? It does get a wiggle on, it moves, and it sounds great. Obviously the window seals in here, a little bit shit. There's something we're going to address. But yeah, it's a really comfortable car. There's not really a lot more to say about it apart from that it's so useful and it's so drivable. And it sounds good. These OM606s, they actually rev. You need to check out Luke and his stuff. He's got a big channel on YouTube. You need to go over and have a look and see what he does and what these engines are capable of. We're never going to reach that with this car because it's not that car. Honestly, I miss driving this car so much. I love it so much. This is one of those cars, you know, that if you're a car guy watching this and you get that connection with stuff and you're like, I'm never going to sell it, this is what I feel like with this. And even though it's a little bit janky and shit right now, I feel like an extension of me. I bloody love it, and I can't wait to like, give it a little bit of finessing and use it for the summertime. I can't wait. And there we have it. Oh. I'm saying okay, there we have it. I've got to actually open the door from the outside. Another thing that has to be fixed. Alright, that was an introduction to my beautiful 108. The channel's doing so well. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm loving all the positive feedback. If you have something to sell, let us know. There's so much more coming that we are going to introduce to our website because we do sell cars on consignment. So if you haven't followed our Instagram, make sure you do, or our new website will be up next week and you should have a look at that. Thank you very much. I will see you next week with my pride and joy. That's going to be a pretty special one. See you next week, guys.